Hello, welcome to Zest Prime. As part of this video, we are going to understand the functional component hooks. So basically, these are kind of lifecycle methods in case of functional component. There are totally 7 methods are available, like shown in the here: use state, use effect, use ref, use callback, use memo, use context, and use reducer. So these are the 7 lifecycle methods or hooks, we can call it as, in case of functional component, which can be used to manage the data in case of functional component reactjs. So as part of this video, we are going to understand mainly the first hook called as a use state, so that we are going to understand with the help of by creating a simple hello world reactjs functional component. Let me create a simple one, then we will understand it. So as per the previous video, we have seen how to create the hello world reactjs component by using the command line. So now I'm going to create another one. So basically so we are trying to use npx command to create the a simple hello world react functional component. So npx followed by create react tab, and then followed by folder name or project name, whatever you can call it as, you can give that one, and then press enter. Then it will start trying to create the application. So basically it will take time based on your internet or bandwidth connectivity. Just need to wait for a couple of minutes. So for this I just pause the video. So once it is completed, then we can proceed further. So how to use this created project, and then we will modify the default file as app.js, and then we can try to add the use state react hook, and then we will understand the how to use it. And just wait for a minute, then we can proceed it. Yes, now we can see the project creation is completed. We can see the success message, and we can see the set of commands how we are going to use or how we are going to start this project. So we can see here success message, that means the project creation is completed. And then we can see here cd space use state demo. So we need to move inside to this folder, and we can start the project or server and start or npm start. You can use any one of the commands so that it will start the server with the default port as 3000, and then we can start editing the files. Then we can see the corresponding response in the UI. So the first step is you can move into the project and then on state, press enter, then it will try to start the localhost server with the default port as a 3000, and then we can start modifying the project. So it is trying to open the browser and it is trying to access the URL. It will take a couple of seconds. Yes, it's up now. So we can see here the webpack compiled successfully, and we can see the our UI, the default application UI. So now we will see the project which is got created, UseState demo. So inside that we can see the folder structure. So as per the previous video, we have seen how to use the Microsoft Visual Studio Code. So with the help of the IDE, we are trying to edit the default files. So let me open it. File, open folder. So we are trying to open our newly created project in Visual Studio Code. So to see the files in a better view, so we can see here src, node modules, and app.js. So this is the main file we are interested in. So basically this is the default code which got generated as part of our npx command. So I'm going to delete it. I just say hi and then come back here and we just verify your UI. So you can see here, refresh, and you can see the newly created or modified app.js. It's rendering in the UI, right? So the main intention of this project is we are trying to understand the use state hook, the first one, right? So that is our main intention. So use state is one of the first hook we are going to understand. So the main usage of this use state is we can able to maintain the internal state of the functional component. How we are going to maintain the internal state of the functional component, and how we are going to insert the data or inject the data into the state, and how we are going to read it. So that is the main use case of the use state hook. To use that use state first, so you have to import the use state from the React library. So this is the use state, and IDE is just generating code for us directly. So use state I'm trying to import from the React. So this is the first step. You have to import the React use state from the React. So once it is done, then you have to declare a constant array with two elements, so that we will see the elements 2, and before that we have to use the use state function, right? So this is the second step. So the first step is importing the use state from the React. The second step is creating the constant array with the two elements, and you can pass here the default value of the state what you are trying to maintain. So I want to pass the default value as a 10, and how you are going to access the default value, the name of the variable can give, and in case if you want to change the value to something else, so then you can use the set count. So this is the method. So this is the method. So constant, don't use it, count, because constant is a keyword, so you cannot use it, the keywords as a variable name. So that's the issue we came. I just renamed it. So this is the second step, right? So now you have a variable to access this default value, and you have a method also you have created to change this variable name or state parameter name, right? So I want to display the variable into the UI. How I'm going to display? Can use a simple label as a count, and to access this particular variable from the UseState demo, you can use this curly base and you can mention the count. That's it, simple. So we are trying to access this variable, basically the default value which is available, and we are trying to use this variable name over here. And let me open the UI, refresh. So we can see here count 10. Let me change it to 11. Save it and come back here. So you can see the value is changing, it's reflecting into the UI, right? So this is the simple way you can create a use state and pass the default value and access it the UI. Though this is the simple use case. Then now what I want to do, I want to change the variable value or state value based on some event, like by clicking a button, right? So how I'm going to do it? So this is the second use case we are trying to understand it. So for this I'm trying to create a simple button and so I'm going to create the button label increment count. So this is the button I'm creating. So you can see the button will be created now. See here, just refresh. So increment count button is creating. When I'm clicking the button now, there is no change because we have not included any event or action on this, right? So let me add event on click, and the on click function I'm adding increment count. So basically when I'm clicking this button, this particular function will be called. So for that I need to declare a function. Yes, so this is the function, it will be called when I'm clicking this button, right now inside this function there is no event implementation, we have not done. So to implement this one, what we have to do, we have to use the function what we declared, right? So you can call this as a set count. This is a simple way you can able to call this function. And next step is, our intention is when I'm clicking the button, right? So it should call this function, and with the help of this function we are going to invoke set count, and from that I want to increment this count every click, right? So that is the one. You can keep it here plus plus, simple one. So basically we have included on click function, and that we are calling the set count function what we have defined as part of the use state second parameter. So now let me go to over here and you just refresh, click. So here we cannot modify this function directly variable, so try to use as a one, because this is one of the constant variable, so or state variable, so you cannot modify this one directly. You just take that one and then you can modify it. So that's what it's raising an issue. So let's refresh. Yes, you can see here count is incrementing. So basically what is happening here, when I'm clicking the button, this function will be called and then set count will be called, and then we are reading the default or current value from the state as a count, and then we are adding plus one to that one, and we are updating the state. This is the third step. So this is the way you can use the use state hook by maintaining the internal state and to update the state, right? These are the two functions or two ways we can able to use it with the help of two constant parameters, the default variable name and how we are going to change this variable name, right? This is a very simple use case and simple literal value we pass it over here. Now let me assume I want to pass a simple complex object. So how can I do it? So inside the object I want to maintain the count, and then another variable also I want to maintain name na, right? So basically now I am changing over here a simple literal object to the complex object. So I want to modify this field. So how can I change it? So this is the a little bit complex way we are trying to use the UseState demo. So now instead of count variable name, I'm just going to use object, because this is object, not a count. We have another field also. Let me change this one count to obj. So I just change the variable name to give meaningful names, right? So now let me change the function also to support this newly configured object, right? So whenever I'm clicking the button, I want to increment this particular field as it is, and the remaining field I want to keep let it as it is. I don't want to change the name, I just want to modify the particular field in the object, right? So that's my main intention. So to change this one, what we have to modify a little bit inside the increment function. So how we are going to change it, so that we are going to see it. So set value we have to change it, right? So how we are going to change it? So we have to use a functional implementation, right? So first you take the existing object, my object, so you can give any name, right? So you have to return the modified object. So this is the use case. So you can take the existing object, it will be assigning to over here, and then you have to return the modified object. Before returning the modified object, you have to return the existing object as it is along with that modified field. So we are taking entire object and we are trying to return entire object as it is along with the field which one you are trying to modify it. So this is the use case. So I want to modify only the count. So from where you will take the existing count. So that one I am going to use my object dot count. So this is the way you have to use it. So you set count whenever you are trying to use it, you can use the functional notation. So this is the better way to modify a particular field from a complex object. So you can take this full existing a value you will get as it is, and then so you have to use here set object because we have changed the variable name. And then you will be getting the existing current object into the my object, and then you have to return the modified state. So before returning, you just try to give the existing state as it is along with the modified field only. The rest you can keep as it is. Okay, so now let me come back to our UI. You just refresh. So over here it's displaying count is undefined at line number 14. Yes, so come back here. So here we are trying to read the count, like I said, right? So now the count is not direct variable, so count is available inside the object, so you can use the object dot count, right? So now come back here, you can see here, yes, so it's not doing any action because we are not modifying this value, right? So you just add +1 over here and come back here, refresh. Yes, your count is changing now. So basically what we are trying to do over here, we are calling the event function and set object. This is the function, and you can use the existing object as it is, it will return for you, and you return the modified object along with this existing state, and which field you modified, that field you have to refer over here. Rest of the field it won't change. So this is the way you can modify a particular field inside the UseState complex object. Say for instance, in case if you want to modify the second field, you just name it over here, name colon object colon name, or you just modify this one to some other name whichever you are interested, right? So this is the way you can able to modify the another field, and if you want to display the another field to the UI, just call it as a name. So this is the way you can able to modify either one field or any field in case of complex object by using the UseState, and then come back over here. So over here you can see here it is trying to display the default value as a 10 and default name as a NA. Now when I am clicking this one, it will modify both the values. It's modifying count as well as name. Just click. See here it's a name is there, but it's not changing because we are trying to give the same name. So if you want to see the different, you can see at the just a date, I get milliseconds, so it will try to add some random numbers just to see the difference, right? So let me come back here, refresh, and see the default values, the initial stage, click it over here. Its count is incremented, and the Zest Prime, it is trying to add some random number. Click it again, count is incremented, and the name is changing along with some random number. So this is the way you can able to use the UseState hook to maintain the local state of a functional component. The similar way we can able to manage the state in case of class component, but there we can call it as a lifecycle methods, so that we can see in a different video. But we have seen now here in case of functional component, so how we are going to manage the state with the help of UseState hook. I think that's all about this video. If you like the video, you can subscribe the channel for more subsequent updates. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.